a Canadian radio sanctuary podcast. The official ceremony, the opening ceremony for the Harrison Festival this year is on Saturday, July 12, but usually you get things going to some degree on the the Friday before.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we have an art exhibit on the Friday night, and we have a soft opening, you might say, and so that'll start on the Friday night. Then we'll have a reception at the Ranger Station Gallery for the art exhibit. We'll feature two artists, Ember Moonen and Aaron Morin.
Okay, and for those who may be out of towners and not familiar with Harrison, Gallery is on Rockwell Drive, and they can get more details on that.
Exactly, 98 Rockwell Drive. Yep.
Another year, I swear these years just fly by, but anyway, what do you have? You have the opening ceremony with a traditional stayless welcome, as you've had in recent years. Can you tell us about that? And then you lead into a 1 o'clock performance by Kate Weeks.
We'll have members of Stayless welcoming folks to the festival and to the area. We're going to have the Sasquatch dancers, as we traditionally do, and the chief Paul of the new chief of Stayless, Chad Paul, is going to be welcoming folks as well. And then we'll head into Kate Weeks is a singer-songwriter who now lives in Ottawa, who's also spent a lot of time in the Yukon, and she plays banjo. She'll also be doing a clawhammer banjo workshop that weekend if folks want to come down, and if they have a banjo, they can bring it down and learn clawhammer banjo style. And she'll be doing that on the Sunday.
And that's on the beach, right?
Yeah, the workshops are in the hall. Her performance at 1 o'clock on Saturdays on the beach stage. And then the workshop on the Sunday is going to be in the Memorial Hall. That's where all our workshops are.
Okay. I will say that one that jumps out, Monday, July 14th, 7:30 p.m. in the Harrison Memorial Hall. Bentall, Taylor, and Ulrich at 7:30 p.m.
With Shari Ulrich and Tom Taylor. Yeah, so they're a trio. They've been playing together for quite a while now. Each of them, of course, great songwriters. Barney was here last year. He was here with his son, Dustin, and his partner. And Shari Ulrich has been here many, many times. She's a long-time sort of stalwart of folk music in BC and in Canada. A lot of people know her from Pied Pumpkin. And then Tom Taylor, maybe being around as long as them, but he's a really fine songwriter. He actually plays in a great rock band called She Stole My Beer as well, but he's an acoustic singer-songwriter. So the three of them get together, and it's just, they got a full, great repertoire of songs and harmonies and everything.
On the Saturday, you have, is it Lash Surcell?
Yeah, so he is a great Roma violinist, so he's got Eastern European violinist, quite sort of a virtuoso, and he's kind of he's local. He's based in Vancouver. He's kind of created his own style he calls Roma jazz. Like it says, it's a little bit improvisational. It's got a drum kit and everything, mixes this traditional Eastern European fiddling. So that'll be great to have him at the festival. It's been a long time coming because he's sort of a fixture in Vancouver's world music and roots music scene.
What is wonderful about your festival is and I realize this is part of the theme of it every year, is the world cultures come to the stage, eh?
Exactly. It's right in our mandate of what we're about, is to have that kind of diversity, cultural and we've got the Harrison Festival has a tradition going right back to the beginning of presenting world music, even before there was kind of a world music industry, going back into the mid 80s, early 80s. And we presented a lot of global music artists that later went on to become quite, so well known that we couldn't afford them anymore. So we've got a history of that. So we have a lot of that going on, in the lineup again this year, a lot of diversity.
Right. I just want to say that we can't touch on everybody here. It's such a long list at this point in time, but they can go to the website to get more information, of course.
Yes, exactly. Everything's up there, harrisonfestival.com. There's descriptions of all the artists. Like you say, there's like about 30 performers that we book each year, or 30 acts, over the course of the week. So it's a pretty extensive list, and I guess 9 of the shows are ticketed in the hall, so you have to buy tickets for those, and you can purchase those tickets online, or you can just come up to the beach stage, and those shows are now we're selling buttons for $5 if we encourage you to support the artists that way.
In the vein of world culture, Cobo Town on the Saturday night at 8 in the hall.
Our first weekend, our first Saturday evening performer. This is my third time booking them in my 11 years of doing this. They're definitely one of the top sort of global music acts in Canada. Based in calypso music, the songwriter Drew Gonzalez and sort of band leader, his origins are in Trinidad, and his just sort of way of words and his lyrics are awesome. He's a great songwriter, but combine that with sort of ska rhythms and calypso rhythms, and it's a really fun, danceable band too.
Then jumping ahead to Sunday, another evening act at 7:30 is the Jeremy Ledbetter Trio.
Yeah, that's going to be a really special performance. He's also been here himself, Jeremy, because he's one of Canada's finest, not only a jazz pianist, but does a lot of salsa and Latin styles. And he's been here with various bands over the years. But this is his project, and he's enlisted the other guys in it are top-notch musicians on the Canadian jazz scene, including Larnell Lewis, who's the drummer, who's one of Canada's finest drummers. He also plays with Snarky Puppy. So that's going to be an evening of just stellar kind of world-class musicianship for sure.
Now, we've already touched on Barney Bentall and Tom Taylor and Shari Ulrich on Monday night in the hall. That's July 14th. Jumping ahead to Tuesday, July 15th, an evening of theater.
This year it'll be a little bit different, that we've got a regional improv group, a very, very improv, and that's going to be a lot of fun. You know, if folks are familiar with improv, it can kind of go any direction. It's always humorous and sometimes involves audience a bit. You know, they might have some audience participation. But so, yeah, often we have, more serious plays and that kind of thing. I'm sure we'll get that again. But this year we're opting for something a little bit different with the improv.
And for more information, as I've said, on the website, and also the beautiful brochure you have put out, that pink mountain is quite colorful.
Yeah, we've got good feedback on that this year.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Beautiful work. Friday, July 18th, the Ranters at 2 p.m. And they are on the beach.
Yeah. So they're actually, they're pretty locally, their origins are in Chilliwack, that band. And in fact, there's a member of the band from right here in Harrison. So they're a folk, usually a folk duo, husband and wife duo. Rock Moran is the local Chilliwack resident who now lives in Victoria, but he grew up here in Chilliwack. And Fred Weber is going to be playing bass, and Fred lives right here in Harrison. In fact, a fireman, but a member of Rockwell, a local great cover band that we all love. So Fred's playing bass, and those two have played music together since they were in high school. So that's going to be really cool to have that.
Let's jump ahead to Saturday, July 19th. The evening show is 5 Alarm Funk.
Yeah, so this is the return of them after 3 years. So we had them, and it went over so big that we thought, we wanted to make sure we had a couple of recognizable names for people that we know will be a draw and everything. So we booked those guys, and for sure that show is selling pretty fast because they're so fun. If you haven't seen 5 Alarm Funk, it's high energy, just a riot, right? There's a lot of guys on stage, some great horn players, the drummer's right up front of the stage doing the sort of vocal shouts and encouraging the audience to dance and everything. And so it's a really popular show. So we're selling pretty quickly. So I would recommend you jump in on that if you want to get in on that show.
The wrap-up night, Ye Vagabonds are on stage.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about them. They're from Ireland, so they're an international act. They're here playing the Vancouver Folk Festival and us. It's a duo essentially, but they're going to be accompanied by 2 other string players. So it's going to be a quartet. It's 2 guys who sing in just gorgeous harmony. Kind of like beautiful harmony like Simon and Garfunkel or something, but it's Irish, based in Irish songs and Irish traditional songs, and then songs they write on their own that are, you can hear the influence of that tradition in there. It's also kind of contemporary too. So I think that's going to be a really special way to close out the festival.
And the festival has a lot of other events. We won't go into detail at this time, but Children's Day on Wednesday, July 16, the Artisan Market, July 12, 13, 18 through 20, and the art exhibit at the Ranger Station Art Gallery that you had already mentioned. But before I let you go, Andy, tell us about your involvement with the Rock Choir on Friday, July 18th.
Yeah, so that's special and unique for this year. I started working with them in October. The whole thing just started last October. It's such a popular concept, because there's a band at every rehearsal. The entire repertoire is just popular rock songs. There's like 150 people signed up. This is now in its second season, the choir. The sort of spring season we're just in right now, spring, summer. So they're gonna be on the beach on the Friday the 18th in the afternoon. Actually, it's gonna be not the beach stage. This is important. That day we're moving to the lagoon stage. So this will be a new thing for us. We thought it would be easier to fit because there's going to be about 100 people performing. Couldn't really fit that in the beach stage area exactly, and we couldn't figure out how to do that. So we're doing it on that covered area that's right in front of the lagoon. Mm-hmm. Same place where you have bands on the beach. So it'll be great, and I'm sure the audience for that is going to be huge too, because all the members of the choir bring out their family, and there's 100 of them. So there's going to be a pretty big crowd for that day, I think.
Thank you, Andy. Have a wonderful festival. People want to find out about more of the shows that are going on, they can check out at the website. Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much, and thanks again for promoting it.
Thank you, Andy. Take care.
All right, talk to you soon.